Go ahead.
Okay, well, hello, my name is Lene Jabus. I'm the Central Regional Coordinator for the Transition Improvement Grant, also known as TIG. I would like to take this time to personally welcome you to TIG Tech Talk Tuesdays, a webinar series designed to inform and guide individuals on effective and efficient assistive technology currently being used throughout Wisconsin. What makes this new series so special is that it is being led by our very own Wisconsin educators and assistive technology specialists. Before we begin today's webinar, what is a SEIMC and how can it help you? I would like to review a few housekeeping items with you. If you could go to the bottom of your screen, please locate and click on the Manage Participants icon. When the participants list appears, locate your ID, which will be either your login name or email address. Once you have found your name, hover over your mouse over it, then click on the Rename button and enter your first and last name. This is necessary for us to keep track of professional development hours, attendance, along with properly addressing individual questions throughout the webinar. If more than one participant is viewing from your screen, please send a chat message to Lisa, she's the host, listing all viewers' first and last names. We will discuss how to use the chat feature in a moment. For sound quality and control purposes, the host will mute all mics. Mics will remain muted throughout the webinar. During the webinar, you have a choice to let other people see you or not. If you do not want to be seen, click on the video icon located at the bottom left corner of your screen. A red line will appear signifying that your video is now off. You can change the setting anytime throughout the webinar. Questions or comments can be submitted throughout the webinar. To submit questions or comments, please click on the chat icon located at the bottom of your screen. When the chat box appears, you will be given the option to either send a message to all participants or privately by clicking on an individual's name. Please direct all webinar questions to Lene Javis, as I will be the one managing the Q&A portion of this webinar. As I mentioned earlier, the focus for today's webinar is on SEIMC, what it is and how can it help you. We have the perfect person here today to answer those questions. At this time, I would like to introduce you to Judi Cumley. Judi, Judi, what? She's sitting right next to me. Judi comes to us today with 20 years of experience consulting and recommending assistive technology across environments to increase independence for students pre-K through 12. She currently is the Assistive Technology Specialist and Director of Special Education Instructional Media for CESA 5. She's former Wisconsin Assistive Technology Initiative Consultants, which some of you may have known as WADI, and special educator who worked with students of all ages and challenges. We are very pleased to have Judi with us today. With that said, I am now going to stop sharing my screen and turn it over to Judi. There may be a momentary delay when we do this. Yep.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. I am unable, my camera is not wanting to show my face because I have a dot cam going, so it evidently is not able to do both. So as I laughed, I said, I'm going to be a disembodied voice, and but I am really here. So what I want to talk to you is about SEIMCs, or special ed IMCs, let you know what resources they are, let you know where the special ed IMCs are located across the state, and a little bit about each one of them. Okay, so first of all, what is a SEIMC? Well, it is a special education instructional media or instructional materials center. So many of your schools have IMCs. This one is a special ed IMC. All of the SEIMCs and all of the CESAs are a subscription-based service. So the districts pay oftentimes based on their student population, and then every SEMC has a different kind of fee structure, but just know that they are all fee-based. Each one differs in kind of their focus and their collection. In other words, we don't all purchase the same thing, and we also have different policies in each one, and I'll go over those just really briefly. Now, other CESAs may have lending libraries for schools to borrow materials from. At this point, only CESAs 2, 5, and 11 contain the materials and the media specifically for students with learning challenges. We may have additional materials in our collections, but our focus is for those students with learning challenges. CESA 2 also houses a statewide lending library for specialty communication devices, AAC, otherwise known as augmentative and alternative communication devices. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that when I get to that slide. Okay, so I decided to go in order, so I am starting with CESA 2. And so they call it both the SEMC and their PRC, the Professional Resource Center. I am not going to read all of this to you. I figure you can read that, but they house a variety of different kinds of resources. They have a number of different assessment tools, and Dawn Shelbourne is the SEMC director, and I have all of her contact information there for you. Okay, so CESA 2, as I said, also houses the Assistive Technology Lending Center. So this is the only statewide loan center, so that's why it is different from the SEMC, and it only has high-end alternative and augmentative communication devices, so AAC equipment. It is used for trial purposes. When I say high-end, that means that they are devices costing $4,000 or more. They have a grant so that they are able to loan that to any public school professional for trial with children. It says ages 3 to 18, but I know those of you who are working with students in transition age often have them up through age 21. I'm going to make an assumption that these are students with that as long as they are a student with an IEP, that these would be devices that you could borrow for those. In fact, it does. It says that if I've only read further. Anyway, so because it is a grant, you can borrow these things at no cost, and there is no shipping. You sign up for it. Now, because it is throughout the state, oftentimes there is a waiting list. But this is where you would find things like eye gaze technology for students with real significant physical needs, but who are kind of locked into their bodies, and that as a school, you certainly don't have the funding to be able to purchase these, but you can borrow it for a 4-week period. I think it's either 3 to 4 week period. So anyway, I have their website, and that's kind of it in a nutshell. Once again, if you have questions for that, talk to Dawn, because she's the one that manages that out of CESA 2. Okay, moving on to CESA 5, which is where I'm at. So that we also have the Special Ed Materials Center. Once again, we have a variety of equipment. Our focus tends to be more assistive technology, and I think that's probably because I'm the one that manages it. But we also have lots of professional resources, assessments, et cetera, et cetera. We have, in the last couple of years, also just merged all of our other lending libraries or loan collections into the SEMC. So we do have general education media, mainly media, DVDs, some professional materials, etc. Once again, because it has a fee-based subscription service, district staff can check items out. They have unlimited number of checkouts. We have a 3-week checkout period. Non-SEMC or non-member districts can also check out materials, but there is a fee for each item. CESA 11 is the other special ed IMC or SEMC, and once again, I'm not going to read that for you, but just know that they have the same types of materials, same types of general policies. Lori Johnson is the new director for the CESA 11 SEMC, and I have her contact information there. CESA 3 has, well, how do I put this? Their SEIMC is soon to be renamed as Library 21. That is about all I know about it. I don't know what is going on within the CESA 3 organization that is happening. I would assume they are still going to have the same materials, but they are no longer classifying themselves as a straight SEIMC. Julie Prouty is the contact person, and I will just, if you're in the CESA 3 area, I'll let you contact her to get all the details. Okay, so Lene said we're focusing on assistive technology. What is it? I decided to include a few slides about the law. And so the first one is, what is an assistive technology device? And the law is very, very global, and it means basically anything, any item, any piece of equipment, anything that you either buy commercially from a vendor, off the shelf, whatever, if it's something that you've modified or something that you've customized. So in other words, it's a thing, not a person, that is used to increase, maintain, or improve the functional capabilities of a child with disabilities. So that's really the key part of assistive technology. So I like to say that my laptop computer is, yes, we have a question?
Your PowerPoint, is it moving?
It is on my end, is it not on? Oh, you are not getting it. Okay, we have technical difficulty. Hang on a minute.
Just hit present.
Pardon me?
That's frozen. So I'm wondering.
Okay. Shall we, what do we try?
So let's see here. This is what they are seeing.
They're seeing only the first slide.
Stuck. So what I think a quick try is I'll share my screen and then I'll stop and then we'll go back.
And then we'll go back to yours?
And
Okay.
I think that'll help.
So should I stop sharing right now?
Yes, please.
Okay. So let me get back to the slide that I'm on. Okay, we can try it.
Okay, now I'll go and stop share, and then it should come back.
Okay.
Thanks for being patient with us.
Thanks for letting us know. Okay, and
Yep. It should come up. There we go.
Now let's.
Okay, we're probably going to need to go back a little.
Let's see. Okay, good. Okay.
Okay. Thanks for letting us know.
Thank you. Yes. So I'm not going to review everything, just to show you. They have access to the PowerPoint, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I asked each SEIMC director to write up a brief description of what their lending library offers to the districts within their region. And so that's what you see here under each lending library. So the CESA 2 SEIMC has her description. Dawn Shelbourne is that contact. That is also the description of the AT Lending Center was also from Dawn. CESA 5, our description, what we can do. CESA 11, once again, Lori Johnson is that director, and the information about CESA 3. Okay, now going on to assistive technology, so what it is. So as I said, what is the real key is that it is something that's used to increase, maintain, or improve functional capabilities of a child or a student with disabilities. I always give the example of a laptop computer. Laptop computer for most of us is technology. It's nice technology, but it's technology. If you're a student with a disability and you have Dragon Naturally Speaking software loaded onto that, or you have Kurzweil reading systems loaded onto that, then it becomes assistive technology because it allows the student to do something that they would be unable to do or unable to do as well without it. So it's not necessarily the piece of equipment or the device, it's what it does for the student that makes it assistive. Just once again, real briefly in terms of the law. So as a school agency, public school agency, we have a requirement to ensure that assistive technology devices or services or both are made available to that child with a disability if it is required as part of the student's IEP. Can be under special education, under related services, or supplementary aids and services, or all of them. And we are going to move on. So once again, just in terms of what are some of our roles and responsibilities in the schools, is that if you're in the school setting, just know that even if you maybe know more about than your peers about assistive technology, it should never be one person who is responsible for assistive technology in the district. It should have a team. The best teams that I have seen that function really, really well have role release. So they have that the SLP, or speech language pathologist, is going to function as more than just a speech pathologist for a student who has been referred for assistive technology assessment or devices, that the OT is going to work on more than just motor skills. And so they get together, they talk about the student, and everyone tackles different responsibilities when a student has been referred to them. And once again, it's not that anyone on the team has to know the answers. They just have to know where to start looking for them and where to start getting them. And it is truly to implement. It's one thing to get the device, to implement using the device, to access the curriculum, truly is a team effort. So Lene mentioned WADI, and I don't know how many of you are familiar with WADI. So WADI, this is the WADI Assistive Technology Decision Making Guide. This is available, and I notice I do not have this on the website on this page, and I should. So I will tell you, even though WADI funding ended about 5 years ago, we still maintain the website due to some generous donations, private donations. So that website is www.wati.org. And and I think I do actually have that maybe in our resource page. So this is one of the things that you could find, and this is just a decision-making guide that we use. And it just, when we do an assistive technology assessment, we do not look at the device first. We look at things like the student skills. We consider any environmental impacts. We ask, what is it that we want the student to do? What are the tasks? Are there any sensory considerations? That is especially important for our students who are on the autism spectrum disorder. And then we do some solution generation. What are different tools or assistive technology or strategies? Some accommodations that we can do that are going to support that student. And then we do a process where we narrow that focus down. And then finally we implement. And so this is, once again, this is just kind of a snapshot picture of the process that we go through. And actually I do see my website over here. And when we are looking for students, when we're doing an assessment for assistive technology. All right, so I told Lene I would just kind of start in on some assistive technology, primarily for writing and reading. However, if you have another focus or you want to ask questions about other areas, I guess put those in the chat for Lene and I'll try to address those. And so one of the things that I do want to talk about is whenever we look at assistive technology, we always look at low tech first, because it tends to be something that students use first and don't abandon. And so let me see, this is going to be our first time to try a little bit of switching things. So I am going to escape out of my screen. Oh, that didn't work so well. Okay, because what I want to do is show my IPVO. Maybe we're not going to be able to show.
Yeah, you will.
Okay, so now we go back to
Share screen.
yeah. Share a screen. Sorry about this, guys.
Right there, hon.
But this one, yeah.
This is IPVO.
Okay, well, we'll try it. Okay, there we go. Maybe. I'm seeing it on mine, but I don't see it on Lene's.
Okay. Click on it again.
Well, we have, see what I'm wondering is it's because the IPVO is on my screen. So I'm thinking we don't choose that as an option.
Okay.
So we're going to stop share. And now I'm going to share it again. There we go. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So when we talk about low tech and writing supports for students of transition age, we have to be really sensitive and aware of what is going to be age respectful for the student. And so writing supports, this is a low tech, this is just note paper. But you'll notice that it has alternating white and blue lines. So for those students who have some visual motor problems, for those students who have spacing problems, writing problems, this allows them to select either the blue or the white line. What teachers have told me is that when they use this for students, it's really, really nice for editing, because then you can edit, you can give corrections, etc., in the line above their handwriting. This is just, you can purchase these. This one happens to be, it's called Note Taker. Whoops, high contrast ruling. I'm trying to get it so that we don't have a glare. There we go. I bought this one at Staples at the beginning of the school year, 1 year. So that's one. This is carbonless note paper. So I apologize for what's in here. The last time I presented, I was speaking to a college class, and I was a guest lecturer, and I passed my things around, and so they all wrote at least very nice notes. The way this works is if a student was using this paper, let's say note-taking in their history class or math or chemistry or whatever, doesn't matter what the subject is, but a peer with good organizational skills, good writing skills, etc., so your kind of top peer would be taking notes on this paper, and then you'll notice that underneath we have the carbonless copy. I usually give this page to the note-taking peer because it is slightly grayed out, slightly faded, and I figure our students with disabilities probably need a better, the original copy. All right, so now we are going to see if, all right, Lene, seems like I lost it again. My screen is not showing, even though it says I'm on.
Okay, stop share.
Okay, so we may not want to do this too often.
And then share again.
Yeah, I'm wondering if...
There you go.
There we go.
And then do you want to go in presenters mode?
Well, yeah, I'm just going to do this and this.
There.
Okay.
Well, no.
Oh, well, let's see if it refreshes. Let's see if it's going to advance. No, it did not.
So stop share.
Okay. Whoopsie daisy. Escape.
There. That's
Well, we'll see.
You're still.
Yeah, I'm still.
So
but see, I'm in presenter mode here. I mean, I'm not in presenter mode yet, so now I'm going to be, but you are not. It's not refreshing when I do,
Okay.
unless we give it. And you know what? I am fine with them.
It just did.
Oh, it just did it.
No, it didn't. So we just patience.
Okay.
That technology.
I know. Okay, we're waiting for the screen to catch up. If not, then I will just be in the non-presenter mode, and that works out okay too. So let's try this.
There.
You know what, as soon as I know, because yeah. All right. Well, we're in, yeah, and that's actually might be okay. So we'll just try this.
Sure.
Okay, some other low-tech AT writing supports. Portable word processors like okay, so you probably, if you've been in assistive or in special ed for any amount of time, you have seen things like an AlphaSmart, things like, and now you know about Chromebooks, maybe netbooks, Neos. There is one called the Fusion that I was going to show on my IPVO, but maybe not. Okay. So what a portable word processor is a battery-operated kind of a smaller device. They're oftentimes a little bit smaller than a standard keyboard. And the thing, and yes, they are really, really old technology, but the thing I like about them is that is all they do, is word process. And so you don't have the issues if all you want the student to do is write. Then, for instance, the Forte, the Fusion, has text-to-speech built into it. It has word prediction built into it. It is, but that's all. The students aren't going to be able to go online. They're not going to be able to do research. They're not going to be able to play games. So all they can do is write. There are times when that's what you want. There are times when you need all of the other supports. So once again, like any device, it's going to come down to what is the best, what is the task, what is it that you want them to do, and then you match the device to it. All right, so some AT supports. I am a strong believer in using what you already have. And so what this screen or this slide is showing you is that within every operating system, I don't care if it's Windows, I don't care if it's Macintosh, Chromebook, iPad or iOS, iPhone, iPad mini, they all have accessibility settings. On the computer base, they're in your control center or your control panel. In Windows, it's called Ease of Access. Mac, System Preferences, Universal Access. In Chromebook, you go into your settings. In advanced settings is accessibility. There are all kinds of apps and extensions, many of them free, not all of them, from the Google Store that add different supports for students, or in some cases take away things that interfere with learning. So readability, clearly, those are Chrome extensions that take away all the ads, take away so all the student sees is the text so that they can focus on that. In iOS and the iPad, there are all kinds of settings under the general accessibility settings. So here's the question. Do we want to try?
Absolutely.
What the heck? We're going to be brave, guys.
Yes, we are.
And because sometimes this worked and sometimes it didn't. But
I think we can get it.
We're going to try to share my iPad screen without kicking us all off.
We can do it.
Come on, baby. Oh my gosh, I love it when it works. All righty. So my iPad, yes. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. You guys aren't here yet. We'll see. Do you think we should stop sharing or should we let's give it a few more seconds to let it see if it can catch up? But it doesn't seem to like us using different kinds of technology to connect things.
No.
Okay, stop share. All righty. And now let me find my... Yeah, see, our problem is that then when we do that, there we go. Share screen. And we'll try that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. All righty. So this is my iPad screen. Down at the bottom of my screen, and you're not going to be able to see me touch anything because it's only showing my screen. So I'll try to describe what I'm doing as I am doing it. If I go too fast, let me know and I will back up, but I don't have a way of necessarily showing you what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to go down to my settings, which is only, I don't think they can see that. Oh, it is. Okay, cool. Okay, so down here at that grid, or that gear, and within the settings, in your general settings, then where we're going to go to is accessibility.
They will see with your...
Yeah, with my cursor. Okay, so I'm going to skip. We could spend hours just going over, or maybe not hours, but at least an hour going over the different accessibility settings. I'm not going to go over all of them. I'm going to let you know that most of the ones in this top area that is marked under the vision category are those settings that change the way the iPad interacts with your touch because they are for individuals with visual impairments. So you have to think in terms of a person with low vision is not going to necessarily be able to see all the icons. Therefore, if you turn on VoiceOver, when you tap something, it's going to tell you what it is. You have to double tap it to actually activate it. Because individuals with low vision may be kind of using their finger to help them scan through. It requires 3 fingers to swipe to next screens, those kinds of things. So it changes the way the iPad screen interacts. Zoom does the same thing, but what I am going to do is go into speech. Whoopsie daisy. All right. And I want to show you a couple of things that I think are, if you haven't used them already, are extremely helpful to all students. So the first one is speak selection. Mine is turned on, it's green, and that means, and you can read right there in the gray, it says a speak button will appear when you select text. So how do you select text on an iPad? You do a long press on the word. A little blue shading will come across it, and the window pops up. And it will either give you an option to speak or select all. You do have to have this turned on in order for that to happen. So now think in terms of how does that work? Well, on a website, a student would be able to hear the website being read to them. If they have a document on the iPad, it will read to them. It will read some iBooks, but I have actually a better solution for iBooks that I'll tell you about. And actually, it's the next one. Okay, you only see Speak Screen if you are running iOS 8. So iOS 8 is the upgrade, the new operating system as of September about, I don't know, 25th or something like that. And now it has an option so that I can swipe down with 2 fingers from the top of the screen to hear the content of the screen. Let's just try it.
Speak selection.
Whoops.
On. A speak button will appear when you select text. Speak screen. On. Swipe down with 2 fingers from the top of the screen to hear the content of the screen. Voices. Speaking rate. Speaking rate.
Okay, hopefully everybody could hear that. And what I did, so I'm going to turn that off. Oops. I want to do it with my computer rather than my iPad. I just used 2 fingers and I did a swipe down from the top of my screen. And then it read the text on the screen. So once again, if you're in iBooks, if you're in Overdrive, and you get books for students using the public access through a public library of Overdrive, it will read that text. And I think it actually probably does a better job of that than some other options.
Could you open up a sample?
I absolutely can, because I've actually been looking and reading a book. So this is my version of an audio book. All right, so you'll now see the fiction that I'm reading, Juliet. So I am going to do a double swipe down. Yeah.
Juliet, and 40A, IVII. What say you? Can you love the gentleman?
Oh, it's because it
shall
started
behold
at the
him
big
at our
first page.
feast.
Okay.
Cena, AD 1340, T. O Maestro Ambrogio the night before Madonna Assunta was as.
Okay, so one of the things I want to show you is that you have a turtle or a rabbit. Whoops. And those are my speaking rates. You don't have words per minute. So if you wanted to slow it down, you'd tap on the turtle. If you wanted to speed it up, you would tap on the rabbit. You can go backwards, you can fast forward, you can go backwards in pages, and then finally we can just close it out. So that is one of the best things that iOS 8 did for us as far as I'm concerned. When it's reading, you can have it highlight content. You can also do something called Speak Auto Text. I put that on for myself personally. You know how the iPad always thinks it's smarter than you are and it auto corrects what you've written? And yeah, I do want HTE to be auto corrected to THE, but if I'm writing, I don't know, wanna walk, it may not have that in its dictionary and it thinks it knows what I want to say. So at least I leave autocorrect. I have Speak Auto Text on. I could also turn autocorrection off, but like I say, I make too many typos that I like having it on. And so Speak Auto Text is a great way for me to hear when it decides it knows more than I do. As long as I'm going to get slightly out of order, because as long as I've got the iPad up and running so that we don't have to keep on doing this, I am going to also show you another option that does support writing. And you'll see, okay. And that is the new keyboards that they have added within iOS 8. So one of the first things to tell you is that you can now add third-party keyboards. So for instance, if you think a student would do better with swipe technology like we have on our Android phones, and for some kids that would work better, you can add a third-party keyboard that has swipe access. There are new keyboards that are being developed all the time for alternate access. But what I'm going to show you is where they have the built-in word completion. It's not quite word prediction, but if, okay, so I was going to say if, and I did, and hopefully you can see right up in here, is that when I type the letter I get some 3 words that start with I. So I'm going to say if I. So now I'm going to try type. And I only had to type TY, and you'll see it right there. So for our students who know those initial letters and can enter them, this gives them that kind of support. You'll also notice it's predicting ahead. So it's predicting words that might follow the word type. And so once again, they have added some of the things that are high cost word prediction programs do, and it's built in now. And now this is only in iOS 8. So just know that. And as long as I'm here, I will also show you that. And this actually, the microphone, and so being able to dictate into an iPad is not new with iOS 8. If you have an iPad 2 or above and you have enabled Siri, you will be able, this microphone should show up on your keyboard. So if it doesn't, that means you either don't have, oh, and I think you have to be running operating system like 6.8 or something like that. So let me just show you really quickly how that works. So I'm going to tap on the microphone. I am using my iPad to dictate into a document, period. It works wonderfully. It works. You have to speak clearly. You know, a lot of our kids mumble, a lot of our kids drop endings. So you do have to do some training with them in terms of how to speak. You cannot train it to recognize voices like you can Dragon Naturally Speaking. I have found, however, that it seems to do better as I have used it more and more. I don't know if that means I've changed or if it's adjusted. I'm not sure who has adjusted in that, but I do know that has really improved. And I think, unless somebody has some questions and wants to see anything else on an iPad, I'm going to close this down and we'll move on.
How about if you run and show where Siri is?
Okay,
since we're there.
Sure, as long as we're here with
Just
Siri. So Siri is that, and you know, many of you know how Siri works. And in the iPad, it is a long press on the home button over here. And so I can use Siri for things like, Siri, what's the weather like in Portage, Wisconsin?
Here's the forecast through December 5th, 2014.
Okay, so that works well. Once I have Siri, I could say, whoops. Okay, Siri. Whoops, I think I have to do this way. Oh, go ahead with this. Siri, what is the square root of 721?
Let's see. It looks like the answer is approximately 26.8514.
Oops, I picked the wrong number. But it tells you so, but I could do something like, Siri, what is 27 times 11?
Let me have a look. The answer is 297.
And so it will, and if I asked a simpler kinds of question where it could bar graph it, it would actually show me that. So I can use it for curriculum, I can use it to open apps, I can use it for maps, for weather. I could say something like, Siri, who is Abraham Lincoln?
All right, here's what I got.
So it will tell me that. Now, it takes me to Wikipedia. And, you know, see, people have said that and said, well, but that's all it does. Yes, they're absolutely right. The thing I like about it is if for my students, maybe with some cognitive delays or with some significant learning disabilities, this is just enough information. It has the real basic facts about Abraham Lincoln, has his birth date, has his birthplace, et cetera, tells me a little bit about him. And then I can just tap, see full article if I have students who could use all of the information and could sort through it. So it has lots and lots of different supports that you can use. So, and that's just a long press on the home button. Anything else you want to see?
That was great.
Okay. All right. So we are going to try going, I have a feeling we're going to have to stop sharing.
Okay.
And come back. All right. Okay, and we're just going to leave it in this. All right. Okay, so going in, so alternate keyboards. I talked a little bit about, I didn't talk about this one, but that's okay. So for some of our kids with writing supports, they do need alternate keyboards. Maybe they need an enlarged one, maybe they need a smaller one. For some of our students who have muscular atrophy disabilities, their range of motion gets smaller, and so they need a smaller keyboard. So there's all kinds of different alternative keyboards. They're usually USB, usually just plug them into the computer and you're ready to go. I already talked a little bit about the swipe technology. I forgot to show you the split keyboard on an iPad, but you can, when you have your settings, go back into those settings and under keyboard, and that is one of your options to split the keyboard. When you do, you see this kind of a screen. So for kids that are really familiar and comfortable with texting, sometimes this works better. On-screen keyboard is exactly the way what it sounds like. It brings the keyboard onto the computer screen, and then the student either uses a mouse or some type of alternative access, and usually word prediction is built into it, and so they would just hover over the letters and it would type those into their document. Here is a trick. If you have, and so far I've only done this with an iPad 2 or 3. I'm still working on getting the right connector for an iPad 4 or Air, but there's something called the camera connection kit for an iPad. And so when you have the camera connection kit, you plug it into that 30 pin into your port, like where you would charge it, et cetera, et cetera. You plug that in, and on the other end of it is a USB port. Then you just plug in a standard computer keyboard into that. You'll get a little window saying it's not supported. Just say okay and start typing because it works. And so it is, there's an issue sometimes with Bluetooth keyboards, especially if you have a number of them going on in a classroom, because there's kind of an issue sometimes with them trying to lose the connection, and then they want to connect with another one. You have to charge the Bluetooth, et cetera, et cetera. If you use something like this, you can use just a standard keyboard if that's what the students need with an iPad.
Judi,
yes?
You can also program that.
Yes,
keyboard.
Yes, you can, Lene.
So it could be like a...
Yes, you could program. Well, now, you know what? You're not going to be able to program it with, like if you're talking like a Dvorak or an ease of access. Is that what, when you're saying programming?
Just simply like a switch. Use it for switch purposes.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, absolutely. And actually, but when you say that, and it made me think of Dvorak is an alternative keyboard, and it's a frequency of use keyboard. So rather than our traditional QWERTY QWERTY keyboard, it has all of the vowels and the frequently used letters. So think of Wheel of Fortune. The frequently used letters can be right-handed or left-handed depending on the student's access use. Well, you can select Dvorak keyboard as one of your alternate keyboards. And on the iPad, I'm back on iPads again. going into the settings and you add a keyboard, and then you just scroll through and you find different kinds of keyboards. You can also add different language keyboards, more than you would probably ever need. But for instance, the Spanish keyboard has all the accents in it. So,
But again, you need that USB.
you actually don't need that to add keyboards. If we have, so we'll leave that. If anybody wants to see that, why don't you let Lene know? And if we have time, I can come back and we'll bring up the iPad.
Very good.
All right. Word prediction, since I was able to show the kind of the iPad version of it, I'm not going to show it here. Just let you know that CoWriter is the word prediction software. So this is for the computer that has been around for years. Read and Write Gold is also software. Premier Assistive Technology, WordQ, those are all software programs. On mobile devices, iWordQ and CoWriter US are for iPads. We have word completion. Read and Write for Google Docs is a Chrome extension. I'm a little hesitant to try this, but since we are on here, we're going to try. Oh, golly, I just love it. Okay, so I just tapped into a doc in Chrome, a Google Doc, and right here, this little green tab up here is from Read and Write Google. Okay, so it has the ability for me to use word prediction. And so you'll see the little window coming up here. Once again, it predicts ahead. And I could say this. And I will tell you it's not quite. Okay. I'm having some issues right now because, yeah, it's not predicting ahead. And that's probably because right now it's lagging behind because we are doing the share screen. So that's why we're not getting good word prediction. And it wants to read it. So I also have the text to speech.
I am using my iPad to dictate into a Google Doc on my computer this is using.
So it has that. It does actually have speech input now. That's new. It has highlighting tools. There are all kinds of supports in our Google Docs. So, okay, so that is one of the options.
Is that free?
It is free for teachers. What a good question, Lene. I don't know, do they hear you?
They hear me.
Okay, good. Good news. Teachers can go to the Text Help website. So it's texthelp.com. And you are able to sign up as a teacher, as a professional, for a free version. And you get, this is the whole pro version. Students could sign up and they could get it, and it's all linked to because we're on Chrome, so it's all linked to your Google ID and your Google account. Students can sign up for 30 days. And after 30 days, they still have the buttons for the text to speech. And they also have Google Translator, which is, I think, yep, right there. They don't have the other features. But you know what? They still get text to speech. Once again, if you have a student who has a learning disability, a difficulty with processing or comprehending the printed word, they can listen to it. And actually the speech is not too bad on these. And the same thing with websites. Okay, I need to move us on. Uh-oh, come on. Oops. There we go. All right, so I kind of briefly talked about voice recognition. I showed you on the iPad. The commercial versions are Dragon Naturally Speaking for both Mac and Windows. It's called Dragon Dictate for Mac. This is going to be for those students that things that our phones and our iPads don't give enough support. Oh my goodness, it's already 4:25.
Keep going.
I knew this was going to happen to me. So that this is going to give you a lot more support. I already showed you our microphone. So let me show you one little trick. And I'm going to stop at voice recognition. All right, so let's see if we can come back here. And I'm going to turn off our word prediction. And actually, I think I am going to just get rid of all of that text. What I am going to do, okay, Linnea, can they see you? I'm going to turn on my phone.
They can.
Can they see you? Okay.
Yeah.
And I am going to, now, okay. There's nothing for them to see right now, but I'm going to show them in just a minute. So I am going to use my phone. I could use my iPad. I could use a phone. It could be a functioning phone. It can also be, you know, when you upgrade to a new phone, rather than turning it in, keep it, because take out all of the ability to make phone calls and all of those things, but keep it and use it because it will still connect to Wi-Fi. When it connects to Wi-Fi, I can open up a Google Doc on my phone and, okay, whoopsie daisy. Went to sleep because I talked too much. All right, so I am not going to type. I see this loses some of the effect because we are not live and they can't see what I'm doing. But now, let's see. Well, you know what? Why don't you do it? Tap on. No. Tap on.
Okay, so I'm on her side.
Okay, tap on the microphone and dictate.
Hello, and welcome to Tic Tac Talk Tuesdays. Tic Tac Tac. Well, that's a tough one.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
Happy Thanksgiving. Oh, this is so sweet. And you know how many of us have, well, I don't know about you folks, but I'm on probably my 5th smartphone. So that's brilliant.
Isn't it? Isn't it? It's kind of magical. And you know what's really cool is, so, I mean, you wouldn't have to have, I just had the Google Doc open so that you could see what happens. But if I was a student, I could be dictating into my Google Doc using a phone, a smartphone, using an iPad, using any of those. And then later when I come home or whatever and I open up that Google Doc, my text is all going to be there.
I like that.
And so then, you know, if I need to edit it, because while it's great to dictate on a phone, I probably wouldn't want to write a whole document doing that. So then when I want to come back and read it, I could use my read and write to hear it. So I could do my self-editing that way.
And I'm thinking students would really like to use, just because they got a cell phone.
And
then it can be used for that.
It can be used for that.
You know?
Yeah. So it's one of those things that, yeah, I just think is kind of fun and kind of cool. Okay. I guess we only got through halfway through reading.
Okay. We will have, let me go ahead. I so appreciate you doing this presentation with us. What I will do is have the presentation available. Can you mute you?
Okay, where am I?
There we go. I think there we go. Okay, so is my screen showing? Yes, it is. Okay, so what we will do is have her PowerPoint available on our website. I'll make sure to have that up. So we'd like to thank Judi for joining us today on TIG Tac
Talk Tuesdays. And, we ran out. I think we're off. I can't hear myself. I'll keep going, but I think we got cut off.
No, I can still see you. Well, I still see you on.
Okay, if you're still with us, please join us next in December for our next TIG Talk Tuesdays, which will be, I'll just show you here, just because we're on here, December 9th. And because we are in the holiday season, we will only be having one TIG Tech Talk Tuesday in December. And again, that will be on December 9th. And it is a webinar on audio note and voice stream and pillboxy. Megan Donahue from the Rehabilitation Center over at Stout, the Stout Vocational Rehabilitation Institute, will be joining us and doing that presentation. So again, thank you so much for joining us today, and we hope to see you again in December. Thank you.